so good to see you all again. Here with us.
Don't be frightened. Look at this little Scarecrow. Why is this cruel? He doesn't like humans too much. Now, take a while, sit down, and listen to the tales I have for you.
Hello, Scott. You say from the back seat. Jesus Christ! I say, and in my surprised look, I yank the wheel and the car fishtails into the next lane as vehicles around me honk in disapproval of my erratic driving. There's no way you could have gotten into the car. I would have noticed it. You weren't there when I merged into the highway? Then, now, suddenly you were. I'm not gonna talk to you, I say. Dr. Claron says I'm supposed to ignore you. You smile and shrug. If I'm not here, then don't. But if I'm not, then why do you see me? Hallucination. Because my brain is fucked, I tell you. But you knew that. We talked all about it this last time we sat down together during the exit interview. I told you why I was afraid about the gap in insurance and prescription coverages because of my condition. But I was taking the job anyways. The offer was just too good to pass up on. When I told you there was nothing that you or the company could do to keep me because you couldn't afford my new salary, you said you understood. We talked for a while longer, and you offered to pay out my unusual week of vacation as a parting gift. That was very nice of you. I always liked you, Rick. None of our mutual acquaintances has ever had anything negative to say about you. Having you for a boss is one of the things I knew I'd miss most about that job. I haven't taken the medication for a while now because I can't afford it until my new insurance begins. 600 milligrams of thioridazine a day is not cheap, even with generics. But, you probably know all this because you can read my mind. Heck, you are my mind. So, I don't tell you about it because you're not real. I'm making you up right now. You're not in the backseat at all, and Dr. Claron says I'm supposed to ignore you, just like the others until you go away. I might, you say. Eventually. Are you reading my thoughts? I can feel a tremor begin to grow on my hands as I grip the steering wheel tighter to make it stop. I called you almost 3 weeks ago, you say. Did you not get my voicemail? I sigh, looking up at the mirror, and I can see your reflection in the rearview passenger seat with your seatbelt on. You certainly seem to be there. Maybe this was all a mistake. It seemed real enough now. Maybe you hid and stowed away in the back somehow. I deleted it this morning, I tell you finally. I can feel the guilty bile begin to bubble and churn somewhere inside. I didn't need to listen to it again. You never called me back, you say. It's not a big deal. Not now. But 3 weeks ago, I was hoping you might. Well, I didn't work for you anymore, and I couldn't see what the point would be, I said. I wasn't going to at first, but Adam said I should. Well, why didn't you? Well, I guess I forgot. By the time I remembered, it seemed like it had been too long, I tell you. So I decided not to. I guess I was kind of embarrassed for forgetting. I forgive you, you say. Don't worry about it. Well, I do worry a little bit, I say. It was kind of rude of me. You wouldn't have done that if it was the other way around. You would have called me back. I'm actually on my way to see you now, to apologize for doing it in person. I parked the car. I think you must have gone inside before me because you're gone again. But maybe you were never there at all, and I sit for a moment to collect myself alone before getting out. A moment to decide what I want to say to you when you're no longer a hallucination. no longer in the back seat. The wallpaper is ugly here. This pattern room I've seen before, 2 months ago when we did this for Jenny. It's not her parents standing at the door this time, but your wife and your son and your daughter. I'm sorry for your loss, I say to them. Your wife thanks me, but the kids say nothing. They don't need to. The tears don't fall, they crash to the floor around them in big, pregnant drops. The room is so quiet I can hear them shatter against the tile as I make my way to where you are, lying with your eyes closed, surrounded by flowers. The suit you were wearing is the one I've seen. You were wearing it when you rode here with me in my back seat. My conscience called me here because of the guilt that twisted my stomach, coiled around my insides like a boa constrictor. My condition called you to me as I drove. I regret not returning that call. It was rude of me. You are a better person than most people I've ever known in my entire life. Fair and thoughtful and kind. I've never heard anyone say anything negative about you. And though I know it no longer matters, and it's not a big deal, I just came because I wanted to let you know I'm sorry. In memory of R.A. and J.A. I'm Sorry was written by ScottZavino.com and narrated by Jack Sanders.